When Denver heard the U.S. women's national team was coming to town, they sold out Dick's Sporting Goods Park within minutes, and for good reason. As tonight, it's a rematch of the past two Women's World Cup finals. Japan going through some reconstruction as they look to return to their winning ways, while Alex Morgan and the U.S. have a perfect 11 wins out of 11 so far this calendar year, and victory number 12 would be the most special one yet.
The United States versus Japan, the two most recent World Cup champions. A rivalry that is a catalyst for both agony and brilliance. Two teams that bring the absolute best out of one another. Friendly or not, this is a spectacle you won't want to miss. USA versus Japan, next on FS1.
The U.S. Women's Pregame Show brought to you by AT&T. We're roughly 24 hours until we kick off the Copa America with the U.S. men in action. But tonight, we focus on the world champion American women. Rob Stone, Allie Wagner, Leslie Osborne with you tonight. The underlying theme to this one, Leslie, two world powers that seem to be going in opposite directions since that final back in July.
Well, who would have thought 11 months ago that Japan would not even be competing in this Olympics? And you talk about a new coach, a lot of new faces for Japan. They're going to continue to rebuild for the future. But the U.S., talk about a strong start, conceding only 1 goal, scoring 46 goals. A lot of familiar faces are off this team, adjusting to no Abby Wambach and Lauren Holiday and even a Megan Rapinoe. Seen a lot of new faces and younger players doing a great job.
I hate to be Debbie Downer here, but I think the absolute worst thing that could happen to this U.S. team, barring injuries, of course, is that they walk into the Olympics without having suffered a loss. Because we know you learn the most from losses. Ask the 2007 New England Patriots. You learn about character, and it always highlights weaknesses that you may not have perceived before.
You take a look at what the U.S. has accomplished this calendar year already, trying to match a program record by starting a season at 12-0-0. The U.S. facing Japan for the first time since that memorable final. And we'll talk about the starting lineups right now. Japan, as you mentioned, surprisingly failed to qualify for the Olympics from Asia. It was China and Australia going. Here's how they start the day.
Yeah, a new coach, Takakura, a young team, a lot of new faces without Sawa and Miyama in there. In the back line, you have Ariyoshi, who's going to love to get up and down that flank. And number 4, a leader and experienced, Kumagai. And Sakaguchi in the midfield, she has a lot of experience, and she's going to be the connector in the midfield. And number 9, Ogini, the captain, goal scorer. Look for her and Iabachi to combine. She's another attacking presence and future star.
Here's the U.S. 11.
Well, I know everyone at home is saying, play a backup goalkeeper. But Hope Solo is starting, and Jill Ellis wants to get her some chemistry with that back line. They've been away from each other for about 6 weeks, and Kelly O'Hara looks like she's owned that right back now. It's all about the attack with Jill Ellis, and Kelly O'Hara has made a statement there. In the midfield, you're going to see Allie Long is getting the start over Horan, who took a knock in practice. And then up top, Alex Morgan has been killing in the NWSL with Orlando Pride, and I don't expect anything different tonight.
Those 3 up top, they've combined for 19 goals and 9 assists this calendar year. For another perspective, we'll go out to Denver, check in with the trio who had the honor of calling the last meeting between these two countries, JP Delacamera, Kat Whitehill, and Tony DeChico. Guys?
Thank you, Rob. Well, Jill Ellis has some difficult decisions to make. Tony, starting in the back.
Yeah, dream-crushing decisions. Starting with goalkeepers, you got to listen there. And Ashlyn Harris, both are playing great in the NWSL. I give a listen there, the edge. And then in the center of the fence, you got Emily Sonnet, Whitney Yang, and this is a dead heat. It's going to come down to their play in the NWSL, their play with the national team. Every play counts.
And Kat, what about the attack for the U.S.?
It all comes down to the midfield. If Jill Ellis has to decide, it's going to be between Allie Long and Sam Mewis. And Allie Long right now has a little bit of the nod because she's formed a great partnership with Lindsay Horan, playing with the Portland Thorns in the NWSL. And as of late, she's been playing really well for the national team.
So a lot to think about for Jill Ellis. The head coach of the U.S. women's national team is standing by with Julie Stewart-Binks.
Jill, as the U.S. enters this stretch of Olympic preparation, what is your biggest decision you have to make when considering naming that final 18?
Well, I think it's, having a great blend. Certainly I look at the mathematics and just make sure I have 3 players for every position in terms of depth. And then it's a blend, making sure we have enough veterans in there with the experience, and then with one eye on the future. So I think it's a combination of many, many different scenarios.
Thank you so much, Jill. Good luck today.
Thank you.
All right, let's send it back to Rob Stone in LA.
All right, Jules, thank you. Last summer, Allie Long, she watched the World Cup from home in Portland. Now she's forced her way into the starting 11, trying to get a repeat of her 2-goal performance she had against Colombia back in April. Coming up next, we're going to hear from the injured Carly Lloyd. The U.S. women in Denver for the first time since a 2-0 win over China back in April of 2014. Lauren Holiday and the recuperating Megan Rapinoe, those goal scorers on that day. Asian opposition again tonight. Japan now forced to contend with Mallory Pugh, the 18-year-old from Highlands Ranch, Colorado, handed a start by Jill Ellis at the spot that's usually occupied by reigning World Player of the Year, Carly Lloyd. Lloyd sitting this one out due to a knee injury, and for the latest on her recovery efforts, we head back to Denver, where Julie Stewart-Binks standing by with the U.S. star.
Well, thank you so much, Rob. Carly, it's great to see you back here on the pitch. Of course, not playing today, still recovering from an MCL strain. Can you give us an update on your status?
Yeah, well, the good news is I'm progressing. I haven't gone backwards. I'm being smart about it, not rushing. It takes time to heal, and I think I'm several weeks from fully getting back on the pitch. There's still a little lax in it and still needs to heal, but overall, I'm on the right path. I'll be good to go and extra motivated because I miss playing.
You'll be ready for Rio?
100%, maybe even a bit more.
And today, being on the sideline, watching this team, who excites you? Who do you want to see maybe step up and make an impact?
Well, I think, I'm just really excited to see the group play. I think Tobin has really been playing fantastic. She's probably been, the best player consistently for this team and doing well. I think Mallory can definitely step up. Allie Long's in the starting lineup, so it's going to be great to see, and we've got a good game plan, so we'll be ready to go.
Thanks, Carly. Good luck on the recovery.
Thanks.
Back to you, Rob.
Megan Rapinoe also there in Denver, recouping from her knee injury. She hopes to be available for the Rio Olympics as well. Coming up next, we're going to shift our focus to the U.S. men. We're going to get a preview from Santa Clara ahead of the U.S.'s Copa America opener, and they're going to be joined by a U.S. national team player. And the U.S. men, they take center stage tomorrow night. They kick off the Copa America against Colombia right there at Levi's Stadium. It's a rematch of that memorable World Cup '94 meeting between the two countries. And for a preview, let's get it out to Northern California. John Strong, Brad Friedel, and a special guest.
Colombia will open up the Copa America Centenario here at Levi's Stadium Friday night. Brad and I will have the call on FS1. We're here with U.S. midfielder Alejandra Bedoya. You come from Colombian roots. Your father and grandfather, professional players in Colombia. What does this game mean to you and to your relatives?
Man, it's going to be a very emotional game. It's a special game every time we play against Colombia. But for me, I just got off the phone, coming on the bus with my mom and my sister. They had a layover in Texas, and they're underway already. My friends are already here. A bunch of the other family and friends come tomorrow morning. So, and then I got all my Colombian, family watching from Colombia. So it is a very special game and moment for me, and I just soak it all in. But hopefully we come away with a victory.
Alejandro, what's the United States going to have to do to get a result against a very good Colombian team?
Yeah, it's going to take a lot. We know Colombia is a very good team. Offensively, they have a lot of different options and weapons they can come at you with. But I think first and foremost, we need to match their physicalness. We can catch them on the counter. Like I said, with their offensive weapons, maybe they leave space in behind when they're going forward. So if we can attack that and get in behind them, I think we can pose a lot of problems.
There seems to be a real sense of optimism about this group. How excited are you guys to finally get this underway?
We're all excited. I mean, some of the guys like myself have been in camp now for 2.5 weeks, and we've been looking forward to this tournament. It's history. It's going to be huge. It's fantastic. It's another chance for us to prove that we can hang with not just the best of Americas, but some of the best in the world. So we're all really looking forward to it, and can't wait to kick off.
Alejandra Bedoya with us, Levi Stadium, the site, U.S. Colombia, Friday night on FS1.
All right, John, thank you. We'll see you tomorrow. Gianni Infantino expected to attend that game, but the FIFA president making news for different reasons today. Reports circulating that he could be suspended after allegedly deleting the recordings of a council meeting. This coming just 97 days after Infantino was elected to succeed Sepp Blatter. The FIFA Ethics Committee released this statement this afternoon, quote, "We are not in a position to indicate if we have or have not opened preliminary investigatory proceedings against an individual. We would, however, like to point out that there are no formal proceedings going on against Mr. Infantino. Security always at the forefront around major sporting events, and we remind you that only clear bags are going to be allowed at each of the 10 Copa venues. The Copa America Organizing Committee hoping to speed up the entry process and increase public safety with this policy. Let's talk about activities on the field. What do you expect, Ellie, from the U.S. at this Copa?
Well, if you're going to learn anything from the recent friendlies, then I'm optimistic. If we saw what worked, and that's the back line looking less porous with Jones and with Brooks in there, with Cameron, with Yedlin. And then I am more excited about the attack. You saw some exciting players in Bobby Wood and Darlington Nagbe, and if Pulisic gets on the field, and if what Yedlin said rings any truth to what they're going to do, that means we're going to see some attacking presence from that group.
Hey, can't get worse than the last year and a half. I mean, these lead-up games have been the best soccer they've been playing, and the U.S. seems to play better when they have a chip on their shoulder going into the tournament. So I'm optimistic, and it's a great opportunity with Copa being hosted here. A lot of people watching.
And here is the group stage for the U.S. They open up tomorrow live here on FS1 versus the third-ranked team in the world, Colombia. Then they're off to Chicago to take on Costa Rica. They conclude things in the group stage, at least, in Philly versus Paraguay on June 11th. The U.S. women's next major tournament, it's later this summer in Rio, and they've given fans certainly plenty of reason for continued optimism by outscoring the opposition 42-1 so far this year. Tonight, Jill Ellis' side looking for more of the same as they take on Japan in the latest installment of a rivalry that tends to provide no shortage of drama. Walkouts kick off from Denver next.